Hey, it's Chronologically Gaming, the only channel that's perpetually retro because we're playing every video game in order of release. Our primary language is video game because we've played everything up to this point. It's the beginning of November 1982. And we were last on the TRS-80 color computer getting scared out of our mind with Poltergeist. Let's see what our next game is. We're next going to the arcade to play Ponpoko. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Ponpoko, the very first tanuki in a video game. Yes, he's the mascot, the star of the show, if you will. Here's the advertisement flyer that people would have seen somewhere in Japan for Ponpoko. This is brought to us by Sigma Enterprises. They're the developer. It's the fourth game we've seen by Sigma Enterprises after R2D Tank, New York, New York, and Spiders. There you go. Flip it over on the back. It shows you everything about how you play. Oh, look at the bottom left. Old Ponpoko is just eating too much. Looks like he's hibernating. Yes, games are going to keep reviewing and releasing. Please stop releasing video games. Here's a terrible arcade cabinet. Screenshot at least, but there goes an example of the Ponpoko arcade cabinet, and inside's the arcade PCB. Here's the control panel. It's a 4-way joystick and a jump button. That's all you need to know. Easy peasy. And the arcade marquee for Ponpoko. What a whimsical, amazing mascot. And most likely only in Japan. I'm surprised we're seeing a raccoon dog this early in video gamedom. But here we are. Got some snakes winking at us with an example of the screenshot. We have no manual for this one. This has a few different versions. The one that was first released in Japan by Venture Line, and then a game called Kandori, which is the bootleg version where they put Mario in there. We're going to be checking out the first one. Let's go to Japan and play Ponpoko, published by Sigma and Venture Line in the beginning of November 1982. Venture Line brought this to the other regions besides Japan, and this is the 6th game we've seen that Venture Line has done. They did Space Force in the arcade, which was ported to the Intex Adventure Vision, and Looping and Sky Bumper. Oh my goodness, it has a song? Wait a second. Can we actually sing the song? Does it mean it has its own theme song? That's big, because we played games with music, but if Ponpoko has its own musical theme, I mean, like Frogger has a theme, but it was based on a children's cartoon. Is this an original song that's for Ponpoko? I'm sorry, I won't be singing the Ponpoko song. I'm not familiar with it, but I'm just amazed we have a video game. Yes, run, Ponpoko, to eat the fruits. Jump, bound around with your big belly out. Belly? Yes, belly out. All right, let's put a coin in. And go. Yes, it is a running and jumping affair. It's an arcade platformer. I can climb ladders. The goal of every level is to eat all the fruits. You can pick up the question mark jars to see what's inside. I don't think there's a bonus. All there is a jump. Or there's no power-up, at least. I think it's just get the vegetables. At least carrots. We're just supposed to eat everything. We're just a very hungry tanuki. Oh, but sometimes the jugs reveal evil. Yes. I'm glad I got temporary invincibility to run away, but we have to get away from mice? Caterpillars? I'm not sure exactly what those are. There you go. So it plays well enough. The jump mechanic is like we saw. Oh, I can't jump over the enemies. I also have to make sure I jump over tacks. Yikes. Let's see, climb this. There you go, that'll work. And see, we got our next food to eat for the next level. Pick up some cherries. But the jump is a committed jump. I have no desire to change. However, if I stand still and jump, Ponpoko does this tiny little hop to get over things. Let's see, that is not a bad guy. I don't see the reason to pick up the jars except for bonus points. There's not anything involving a power-up, at least that I can tell. So let's see if I should travel to the right side and pick this one up. Nope. And there's still fall damage. I just landed straight on attack. Yikes. Violence in video games. It's already here. Yes, the poor guy. Can I make that? No, you gotta be really fast at the beginning. Or move to the right side of the screen. The nice little ditty at the end. So for the very first time we've had a Tanuki in a video game, this is actually pretty good. Obviously, it's taking big inspiration from what we've seen with Donkey Kong. That was the very first one that started this whole let's run around and jump on things, climb ladders on one screen. The animation of Ponpoko is adorable. It does play very well. I like the ability to jump 2 different ways. You know what? Oh, that's right. I'll come back to that one. This one we already know is the snake. So I guess there's no mystery. Can we get it, though? We can get it, but it'll cost us our life. So at this point, we played 55 video games that we refer to as arcade platformers. That's on all systems, which essentially means we're on one screen, and it's a platformer where you're able to move and jump around like this. There might be different obstacles and power-ups and things like that. But let's see if we can make it to the ladder. Quick, Ponpoko, go! And I don't need to pick that one up. All I need to do is remember I gotta just pick up all the vegetables to go to the next one. This is the 12th game that we played that is an arcade platformer in the arcade. And some of the best right now that you could play that are like this we're looking at Donkey Kong. We're looking at Donkey Kong Jr. Joust is another really good one. Popeye, this time I'll just stay on the right side. Cubert is another really good one. Kangaroo is one we played that's excellent. Chaos is a very unique one. Chaos, K-A-O-S. And The Amazing Adventures of Mr. F. Flea is another good one that included an arcade platformer section. We get faster enemies with different colors, so they're doing the palette swap here. I'm just going to avoid the last one. I don't care. I just want those cherries. Those Pac-Man cherries do look just like the same, right? Once you get all the fruits, move to the next level, find out what the next fruit is, you'll have a ball. Oh, now we're picking up mushrooms. Mushrooms. Maybe that should catch on. Play some more video games with a mushroom theme. He steps on the tack. Not so good. I don't know if I can make this. Yeah, you can't make that jump, so you really just have to run to the other side, which means you might have to do the little mini hop method. Don't move, Ponpoko. Just hop. Hop. Don't touch the tack, though. It also doesn't continue where you left off. If you want to continue to see more and more things that Ponpoko will eat, you have to survive. You can't just continue to pump money into the arcade system. That time he turned and jumped the other way. Oh, go! Quick. I'll try to do it one more time. But it is still fun to play. Our arcade platformers are still great. This one is nice. If you want to try something new or different, I can't believe I made that. I would argue, though, that some of the best ways to play an arcade platformer would be at home. We have Miner 2049er that's out. Oh, gosh, that's just brutal. I can't believe they did that. That one is not in the arcades, and I'd say that is an exceptional release. Okay, so I don't think we can cross that gap. I think we have to go to the other side. And now that we've released the snake, I don't think there's any way we can do it. Yeah. Unless the snake stays on the screen. Oh, gosh, it does? Yeah, there's no way. Maybe we can just try to make this jump. Ready, Ponpoko? Go! He did it! I thought he was going to fall to his death. All right, so we'll stop there. You do get to go level by level. I enjoy playing a video game that allows me to keep going and seeing what's next, and this is no exception. So Ponpoko is a fun time for the arcades. It's not something fresh or new. It's not trying to push new boundaries for video games, but it's still a lot of fun. I look over in the chat. I see mostly 3s, which is average. I actually will go above average because of we've seen other platformers in the arcade. Remember, remind you, this is only the 12th in the arcade that they play worse than this. This is actually very functional and works very well. I wouldn't go as high as saying 4 stars, but I'll say 3.5. It is a fun time. Maybe you were in Japan and this is the first one you saw, but I'm pretty sure if you were hanging out in the arcades, you already seen Mario. You've seen Donkey Kong, and you've seen Donkey Kong Jr. All right, let's see what our next game is. Our next game takes us to the Atari 5200, brand new. This is Real Sports Soccer. But right now, the first time you would have ever seen this game, it was called just Soccer. Real sports has been something we've already seen on the show. They're going to adopt that later. But right now, in November 1982, when you first got this game, it was just soccer for the Atari 5200. This is the very first sports game you could have gotten for the new Atari home console. Front of the box has that amazing artwork. Great job, Atari. They're still pumping it out, even on the new console. It just makes you want to play soccer. It looks nothing like the game. They're not showing anything for the screenshot on the front. It just looks amazing. You flip it over in the back, though. There's the screenshot. Only on the Atari 5200 system. This won't work in your Atari 2600. This won't work in the ColecoVision add-on. There's the system itself. Oh, yikes. You can see right there the joysticks, and it is trackball compatible. It's for soccer fans. Three-dimensional soccer is how they say on the back. Halves last, and it's 4 different skill levels. Awesome. Let's see what other artwork we have for soccer, or later it's going to be called Real Sports Soccer. This is the 5th game we've seen on the Atari 5200. That's how new it is. And this is Atari's 72nd published game on all home consoles. Everything else is on the Atari 2600. Here's the later box that you would have seen on the Atari 5200 whenever they used the Real Sports moniker. And at this point, this is only the 3rd Real Sports that we've seen at this point, at least as far as sports games go. I don't know if it's the 3rd for sure. Yeah, we'll check on that one later. So the other artwork we have for this is going to be the boxes of the different types. The ad you would have seen, or catalog, and there it is showing soccer, the first entry in Atari 5200 sports line. Realistic rendition of video soccer. Video soccer, right? And we've already played soccer games on home computers, especially the Atari home computer, so I'm interested to see how this works. And there's the cartridge, the massive one on the Atari 5200 for just soccer. And we have some fan art ones, and then the later cartridge for when it uses Real Sports Soccer, sometime around 1983. Yeah, there's some great artwork. Both of them. So they used 2 different ones whenever it was Real Sports. I think because they had Real Sports on the Atari 2600 only, and this one just got soccer. There's the example of the screenshot. We also have the manual. Tell us how to play. The manual is the later version, but it should be the same one. It shows us how to insert the cartridge, make sure the power's off. At least they don't have a giant page for it. They tell us how to we're very familiar with how it works now. Score the winning goal. Oh, they have story? Look at this. It is. There's lore, soccer lore. I don't think we've ever seen that on it. Thanks to Atari and thanks to Howard Scott Warshaw. Look at this. It is a story. I wasn't expecting that. It's still going. Amazing. The crowd screaming wildly, out of control, breaking through the police barrier, fans stream into the field and lift you onto their shoulders. You're a hero. So we go through the game options here. This does have lots of options for a home console sports game. Very, very well done, and we'll go to that when we boot up the game. The object is to score more points by maneuvering the ball past the opponent into their goal. Yeah, it's soccer. We got the idea. You can actually tell it's humanoid people on the field, too. Yes. Oh, Errol, good point. The XEGS. We're going to be seeing that one a lot later. That's a good one. All right, so we have on the left side some examples of the screenshot, what you'll see, but we really don't need them to point it out. It's very self-explanatory. Each team's going to have 5 players at the same time on the screen. We got 4 fielders, a goalie or goalkeeper, and we're going to have people to take the ball, kick the ball, pass, and you can even use the trackball controller. Now, I'm not going to be using the trackball. I'm going to be using the Atari 5200 analog joystick. So I'd like to know if anyone had played with the trackball, what that experience is like. The referee is also going to be there. We have the clock at the top of the screen, how to play the game. They give us examples of how to pass, how to shoot, how the scoring works. And before the game, you can have options of how long you want every period to be, or every quarter. And we have penalty plays. They have the throw in, the goal kick, the corner kick. Look at that. All this is included. This is a very well done soccer sports game. The manual is explaining everything. How to use the Atari 5200 controller. Ugh. I'd rather plug in the Atari 2600, but I think we might need an overlay. Yeah, there we go. Look at that. The overlay goes over the keypad. We have all the different kinds of kicks you can do. This is big. This reminds me of us playing soccer or NASL soccer for the Mattel Intellivision. Look at that. How to switch between the different players that you have, how to go between low, medium, and high kicks. All that is on the keypad. So this is another one of those games that it's really hard to play unless you have the controller itself. You can have red and blue teams. And the other thing that's big about this one is you don't have to play with 2 people. A lot of the sports games we play have no computer-controlled person. Not only does this have a computer-controlled person, but I'll get into the really fun stuff whenever we boot the game up. Again, it's explaining all the different options you have. And speed control too, because it's analog. You have a way to move fast or slow. Look at that. You have walking and running. Wow. Very, very impressive. And look, they're still going through more of the nuance. This is giving me vibes of the Mattel and Television. And there we go. Oh, look, the trackball option is a future accessory. Sorry, we don't have it yet. But we have lots of games that promise that it'll be on the system. What is Atari thinking? And there's all the different options and game modes. The computer, that's the other big thing, is you have computer levels. It's fantastic. Wow. And then we have the game select matrix at the back. No way, is this what someone wrote in? Oh, no, that's the example they gave you. And you can write the scores in the manual too. Oh, so cool. That's the full package. All right, let's pop in and play Real Sports Soccer. This is by John Seegers of Atari, the beginning of November 1982. Let's do it. The very first game we've seen by John Seegers. That cover artwork we saw earlier, that's by Steve Hendricks. Way to go, Steve. Lots of good stuff going on. All right, so the first thing I wanted to show you is whenever we decide to play, we can choose between 1 player, a 2-player, or we can have the computer play itself and just watch them play soccer. We are not going to do that. We're going to do a 1-player game. But then if we wanted to, I can pick how long I want every half to be. Oh, sorry, I said quarter before, so it's every half. But you can also select the computer level. This is big for a sports game. I'm able to determine what difficulty level I can do. Oh, I know it is part of that era, but I'm amazed of all the options we have. So let's just go right in and play. So I'm playing this computer at a beginner level. Computer will be playing as red. I'll be playing as blue, so you can see me running as the light blue shirt. But if I want to use my number pad at the bottom, I can select different players if I want to. So right now I am rushing to the goal on the right side. The view is amazing. They have a goalie. Well, what is my other guy doing over here? And I can go for it. Make the hit in. Nice. So beginner, if you've ever played this, actually is very easy. It's a good way to practice the game. But when you go to the later difficulties, they are very hard. But I'm already feeling the difference between the controls. I can walk or move different ways. Oh, you hit it out. Too bad for you, buddy. So you have the ability to switch between all the different players. You have the ability to pass and shoot different ways. Let's see if we can just break through the middle here. Nice. There we go. You also notice that I'm much faster than the computer on the beginner mode. And if you play against 2 people, you'll be evenly matched. There isn't any handicaps for 2 players, but look at this. This is a very good looking soccer game. It is a scrolling soccer game. This reminds me of games that we played for the home computer soccer style games, but they're even better than that. Of all the games we played up to this point, what is the computer doing? I think the computer just randomly kicked it at the top of the screen. This is the 18th soccer or European football video game that we played on all systems. And on consoles, almost every console has had a soccer-like game. Going all the way back to 1972, the Magnavox Odyssey had something similar to soccer, but by then it was just Pong. After that, we had Epoch Cassette Vision's Big Sports 12 Soccer, which again was like a ball and paddle style game. Then the Philips Video Pack had soccer, which looked like people. Then the Magnavox Odyssey 2 had soccer. Interton VC 4000 had soccer. On the Atari 2600, they had Championship Soccer, which was then changed the name to Pele Soccer. And so I would say the big one that was the release was in Television's NASL Soccer. This, I would say, is even better than that. This plays and has more options than NASL Soccer, and they were going for a lot of the complexity, but again, it was a long time ago. This one is really good. Of all that, there was also International Soccer that we played for the Atari 2600. That was the most recent one. But everything that I just brought up is everything that you could play on home consoles that is a soccer game. And so this would be competing against all the other best soccer games we've seen up to this point. See how easy beginner is compared to the other. The difficulty is not that impressive, but you can crank it up. So some of the best soccer of all systems we played is still Atari Soccer that's available in the arcade. That's exceptional. The top-down view soccer. We've also played lots of 4-player simultaneous soccer. This one's only 2-player, but we played 2 really good ones on the Atari home computer and on by Gamma Software and by Thorn EMI Video. They made 2 soccer video games where 4 people can play at the same time. But because this has the difficulty levels and options, and we have the analog control or trackball control, so for Real Sports, this series of games, this is the 3rd we have seen by that series. The other ones have been baseball on the Atari 2600 and volleyball on the Atari 2600. And we're going to be seeing more from this series of Real Sports. This one is the most real. I mean, volleyball is very good, don't get me wrong, but this one's impressive. This one is kicking everyone's butt as far as soccer goes. We're going to see this later on the Atari 2600 around 1983. So I would say this, what you're looking at, is the best way to play soccer on any home console right now. That's how good Real Sports Soccer is. This is enough to make, if you're a soccer fan or want to play something like soccer, this is the best. So now that you see or understand this is the best way to play soccer on any home console, what would you rate this compared to everything else out there? Would you say this is a 5-star video game compared to all other video games? Or you're not a soccer fan, you're somewhere around, it's all right, it's around average still of all the video games you would want to play? Well, I would go even farther to say, because we are representing every genre of video game, this is really, really big. Really good video game, and very, very well programmed. Considering we haven't seen this copy on the Atari home computer, that's what's also surprising. This doesn't exist on home computer, so I'm actually going to go way up. This is one of the best games you could play across any home consoles. Whether you're a sports fan or not, you got to admit it's very impressive. Oh, that's true. The controller is what will bring it down. I haven't played this on trackball, so I'm not going to go 5, but I'm still going to say 4.5. If someone can tell me that the control was amazing, then maybe I'll bump it up to 5 or get a chance to do that. But I'll still say 4.5 stars. Real Sports Soccer is one of the best games you could play across any home console. Yeah, and it depends if you're a sports game fan too. All right, after that, let's see what our next game is. We're back in Japan. We're going to be playing on the brand new Fujitsu FM7 home computer. This is Rinju. Let's check it out together. This should not be confused with Gomoku that was released on mainframe, TRS-80, and the Commodore PET in the 1970s, or Rinju on the Apple II. It's possible it's from the same like a line of video games, but this is a different one. We have already seen this one on the Fujitsu FM8 from 1981. And it may have been the same company that brought this to the Apple II, but this is the first time we've seen this for the Fujitsu FM7. So don't have to tilt your head to the side. We'll actually see this box lined up the correct way. Here we go. There he is, playing some board games on your home computer. All the way. Very interesting, though, that the cassette tape, they didn't line the artwork up. Everything we've seen in Europe, the artwork is lined up if the cassette was vertical, but this is a horizontal orientation, which is kind of interesting. So Rinju is the professional variant of Gomoku. This similar rule set, but just more professional. So this one I have a few different versions, but we are just going to see what happens when we try to play Rinju. This is by Tsukumo Dinki in the beginning of November 1982. This is the second game we've played on the Fujitsu FM7. That's how new of a home computer it is. And this is the third game that we've seen by Tsukumo Dinki after Rinju and Star Trek for the Fujitsu FM8. Here we go. And that's all you got to do. Easy peasy, right? Comes right in. Look at the high resolution graphics, even though we're playing a board game. It's the thinking game series. So first it's going to ask us, do we want to have instructions? And I'll say, sure, give us some instructions, even though everything's going to be in Japanese. And then it'll ask us which one's going to go first. I'll go ahead and say the computer can go first. So the computer will be playing. Black goes first whenever you play Gomoku or Rinju, and the object of the game is it's stone-based, similar to the stones in Go, but this one you're trying to match five stones in a row. Here we go. So I have my decision of piece I want to go, I can go G to G is what I did, and I said yes. So now let's do I to I. I to I. There we go. Oh, okay, so it did let me go first. And yes, I want to do that one. So then you just take your turn. It's the board game, but now you're getting to play the board game on your computer. It is not brand new. This was on mainframe in the 70s and a few other home computers in the 70s. So this one is just being released for the newest, coolest home computer. All right, let's see if we can get 5 in a row. Let's go K. So you first select, it's all keyboard control. So you just select the top column, and then you select the, let's do J to J. And no, I don't want that one. I want J to J. There we go. And yes. And so you just put in the coordinates that you want and then say yes. Oh, but he's going to be going the same as me. Okay, let's try K to K and see if he tries to block. Yes. And he did. Of course he did. You can't just get away that easily. But you get how the concept works. Very simple board game. You do have to know a little bit of Japanese to get in the nuance of the game. But one thing to note is this is only you against a computer. There is no two-player way to play. You have to play against the computer, and there's only one skill level. That's it. So there's not a whole lot of options for this one. So there you go, a quick taste of Rinju on the Fujitsu FM7. Of all the games you can play right now across all home computers, this computer is going lots of places. This kind of game, though, we've already seen on the previous iteration, the Fujitsu FM8, so it's not like that big a deal or it's impressive. So I'm going to say of all the games you can play right now, it's 2.5 stars. It's still around the average range. It is a board game style game. And Go, if we've already seen for home computers, has been more impressive. Looking over the chat, I already see some 2-star ratings. All right, but that's not all. We're not done tonight. We got one more game release that we're going to check out. Let's see what it is. Our next game brings us back to the arcade. I'm so glad. I love the arcade. We're going to play some Rootin' Tootin', or as it was first released here in Japan. In Japan, it's known as La Papa. So the time that we are now, November 1982, this is what they were playing in the arcades, brand new in Japan first. The later release is going to be Rootin' Tootin'. We flip it over the back, and they're explaining how to play. We'll go into a little bit more whenever we boot the game up. But you can see the artwork is whimsical, musical. It's very cartoonish. And it also looks like a very different artwork than we've seen for any other video game up to this point. The other thing to note is this is by Data East. So this is another one of the Deco cassette system games. This marks the 481st game we've played in the arcade, and this is the 25th game that we played by Data East. Everything that Data East has done has been in the arcades up to this point, except Lock and Chase. Lock and Chase is available on the Atari VCS and the Intellivision. So there it is, the Deco cassette system. We're going to play arcade games on cassette. It sounds crazy, but it's very, very cheap if you think about it. So just imagine this game is a cassette. It's a game based on a cassette. There's the artwork for Rootin' Tootin' or La Papa, depending on what region. We're just going to blend them together. We're not going to play either one. They're both going to be at the same time. All right, we don't have a manual for this one, so we are just going to play. This one is only that I could find on the Deco cassette system, not as a standalone. Let's go to the arcades and play Rootin' Tootin' by Data East in the beginning of November 1982. Now, the Deco cassette system has you wait. Now, I'm not going to let you wait. We just loaded a state, so we didn't have to wait for the cassette tape to load. You have to wait 140 seconds at least, sometimes even longer for the cassette to load. So we are bypassing all of that and just going right in. Let's do it. How do you play Rootin' Tootin'? You can see the release date for Rootin' Tootin' was 1983, but you would have seen this originally in Japan as La Papa in November 1982. So there is some of the score for all the enemies we're going to... And this is showing you how to play, too. We're taking... are we a sousaphone that we get to control? We are a wind instrument, though. So the attract mode's telling us a little bit of how we're going to be navigating through the maze. Let's go ahead and put a coin in and check it out. Yes, not the only one. So the idea is you move around the top-down maze view, but instead of collecting all the dots like you would in Pac-Man, the musical notes that you're picking up are used as weapons. So as I move myself around the screen, I feel like I got a little bit of slowdown there. Let's see if we can pick up this one. That is one of our power-ups that turns all the enemies into treble clefs, I believe. And once we pick those up, then we can... Here, I'll stop there and show you how the attack works. So you see, as soon as I move one of the notes and it comes in contact with the enemies, then it knocks them out. So you are simultaneously picking up things up, but you're also using that to destroy the enemies. It's a cool idea. And once you pick up all the musical notes, then you move on to the next stage. It is a very cool twist on the top-down arcade maze game. I just love using what I'm collecting to destroy everyone. So I'm already finding it fun and a bit different than what we've seen before. You also have another button that you can use to transport through things like I did just there. So it makes you invulnerable for a temporary amount of time. Wait, is that a life? Can I pick up a whole life? I can. Or maybe I didn't pick that one up. Oh, we have a giant piano coming after us. It doesn't look friendly. What? It can pass through the walls? But we can tear them up. I'm going to quickly try to pick all these up. And we have another one. So as far as I can tell, the temporary, like, invisibility that you use, you can use it anytime you want. It just is very, very... It's just very quick. You don't have it very, very long. So you can see I can use a little bit here to try to sneak through. You can also use it to sneak through and then avoid picking up a note to go to the next one. Wait a second, is that enemy laying notes? We gotta destroy that one. That's terrible. Yeah, kill you. Yeah, these symbols are like evil auto. The longer you stay on the screen, they're gonna make more and more. Yeah, I've never seen this one either. Very unique concept, too. Let's see if we can get there. Nice. Destroy both of them. Also notice that we're back at the first level that we had. If you lose all your lives. So thanks to Pac-Man and thanks to Head-On, the top-down arcade maze game where you're picking all the dots up or things up is everywhere. At this point on Chronologically Gaming, we've played 295 games that are top-down arcade maze games like this. Arcade collectathons, whatever you want. There's lots of names you can call them. And for Pac-Man style ones, this is the 128th that we played. Oh, I missed that one. Darn. This is the very first video game we played where the theme of the video game is music. Like us playing as a wind instrument. I don't know, yeah, I'm not sure about the slowdown. It is kind of interesting. I also want to know what's up with these symbols laying more. I'm just going to destroy them all. Here. I'll take care of that. Looks like they just keep generating more and more anyway. Another surprising thing is we're going to see this one later on the Commodore 64 sometime in 1984. So we haven't seen the end of this very rare arcade game. And that's because by law, every video game has to be ported to the Commodore 64. Apparently this one's no exception. Alright, let's just go down. Get more of them. I'll destroy that one. Now, if I know that enemies are generating more notes, I don't know if I'm able to complete to the next level. There's some more there. Now I just gotta pick this up before. Quick, quick, quick. And I did it! And then you move on to pattern number 3. Now we have some of the notes that are inside the walls. Wow. And then we can use our ultimate power-up to turn everything into treble clefs. Yeah, it's a great score chaser, and you start to get in that zone when you understand the mechanics of the game. Looking over the chat, I got a 4-star, mostly above averages for everything you see up to this point, because of that mechanic of using what you're collecting as a way to hurt the enemies is a really fresh idea. So I wouldn't say it's perfectly average for all the games you could play, And I'm not sure if the slowdown is because of the emulation or not, but I actually contend with most of the people in the chat with 3.5 stars. Yes. And the graphics are done very well. A little bit of music that's playing in the background. Yeah. It's a fun time. It plays great because it's just a fresh idea. So I'll say 3.5 stars of everything you could play right now in the arcade too. I mean, see 1.4 out there from Charlie. Excellent. Yeah. Give it a shot if you can. Yeah, the original take is nice, and so the gameplay is something new. I haven't seen anything up to this point that's doing this style of game. So way to go, Rootin' Tootin', or La Papa, as we're playing it now in the arcades in Japan. Oh, bring on more puns. I love it. All right, now we got to put our video game playing on pause, or we ran out of quarters, or wait, yen. We ran out of yen in the arcades, so we can't continue on. Thanks so much for joining me on this episode of Chronologically Gaming as we play every single video game. And as we always say, if there's any video games we haven't seen or you really want us to showcase, let me know. I've been adding them to the backlog on the link down below for all the video games we can play. You can check it out and see what other games have been added that we're going to be seeing later on the show. Next time on Chronologically Gaming, we are headed back to the arcade to play a fresh shoot-'em-up idea by Sanritsu. Scott Adams strikes again with a port to the Atari home computer, and more games for the Pyuta. That's it for today, and like I always say, once you've had a taste of the Atari 5200, you'll want to play the Atari 2600. Hey everybody, thanks for checking out the channel and joining me on my quest to play every single video game in order of release. We'll be streaming live every weekday at 9 p.m. Central, so join us and let us know if we missed any games along the way. This video would not be possible without Launchbox, RetroArch, and MAME. Tell all your friends there's some crazy guy named Chronologically Gaming trying to play every single video game. We have links down below that'll send you to places like our Discord and Patreon, and one that says all the video games we've ever played. If you go there, it's a list of everything, and you can click right to the game you want to see. Chronologically Gaming is the name to look for. We are perpetually retro, and we will catch you next time.